Good afternoon, everybody. Rusty Blackwood here, and I welcome you to my loft on this Easter Sunday, 2022. Today is April 17th, and it is a grand day outside. Blue skies everywhere, sun is shining brightly, everything is in bloom and blossoming. The daffodils are brilliant. The forsythia bushes are flaming, flaming yellow, and he is risen. How wonderful. It's just everything is being renewed along with, you know, our very life. And I was to church this morning. It was with my eldest son, Jamie, and my grandson, Rick. And oh, what a wonderful service. It was the room was practically packed, and it was so good to see everybody, smiles and enjoying themselves, enjoying the day, and knowing what this day stands for, what it represents, and it's just a great day to be alive, and I said that I would be here to do my Easter video, and I planned on doing it today and spending time with everybody here, all of you out there on the other side of the screen. And I had my family's Easter dinner yesterday, last evening actually, um, because when you have when your kids, when there's other parts of a family that come into play, um, and you've other people planning their celebrations and what day they're going to do it, whether they're going to do it Good Friday, on Saturday, like the Passover, or Easter Sunday. And prior years, I've always liked to do it on Easter Sunday. But as I say, there's other, my grandchildren now have other side of a family, and so there's you got to give and take, and you got to share, and so I just decided that I would have it on yesterday, and hopefully everybody could make it. The majority did. My eldest daughter-in-law wasn't feeling well. She was a little under the weather, so she didn't come. But and my eldest great grandson wasn't here, nor was my grandson. But I saw my grandson today, and so that was good. Like he makes sure he makes an appearance on Easter weekend at some point. And I mean, he's a grown man. He has his own son, and he has his own life, and he always makes it a point to, at some point in time, to spend time with his grams. And right from the time he was just a tiny little fella, and always liked to hang around with grams, and especially great grandma, my mom, when she was alive, and when she would be visiting. Uh, Ricky was in his own realm when mom would be here. And as I've told you in prior videos, my mother loved all of her grandchildren and her great grandchildren immensely, but she was especially drawn to Ricky, and as I said, she always called him her little man, and until he was a good sized boy, and he had told her one time, "I'm not so little anymore, great grandma." And so she started calling him her big little man. So it kind of stuck. And Ricky, my grandson Ricky, he is a big man. He's extremely tall, and strapping man, and strong. And in my eyes, he's extremely handsome. He's a ginger, and ginger beard anyway, has tend to have a little bit more blonde as hair color than red, but his beard, his facial hair is red. He puts me in mind of my maternal grandfather, Fred Weber, um, because he was a ginger in his youth. I mean, as long as I knew my grandfather, I mean, he was gray haired, but in his youth and pictures I've seen of him in his youth, he was a ginger, and I'm a ginger, and so I guess you know, and there are different members on my eldest daughter-in-law, Corrine, on her side of the family, Ricky's mother, who are gingers. And so, it's obviously it's in the DNA and on both sides of the family. And so it's really nice. It's cool to see that happening with your grandchildren. Seeing these different characteristics show up in your grandchildren and your great grandchildren. Because, and I say my little Harrison, my youngest great grandson, um, not the whom I call Ginger Snap, because he's a ginger, and whether he remains a ginger as he grows older still remains to be seen. But I hope so, because I don't know. I guess it's just nice to see those that kind of follow in one's own footsteps. My grandson Rick, he has my eyes, the color of my eyes, and my middle granddaughter Elizabeth, she has blue eyes as well, and my eldest granddaughter Carson, her eyes can be blue, they can be green. I've even seen them sort of be a little on the amber side. She just sort of has eyes that sort of the color changes with her mood, so to speak, and I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I have my dad's eyes. He had blue eyes with a bit of gray flecks in them, and I have my dad's eyes, and so it's so nice to see those of my family that have the same colored eyes. And I've said before how all those who have gone before us are all present in all who come after. I mean, their DNA is there. Um, Different characteristics: hair color, eye color, complexion. I guess this is going to say, I don't know. Ricky has freckles, as you can plainly see. I do. It seems to be the plate of the ginger. I don't know. Although my middle granddaughter Elizabeth, she has freckles as well, and she's quite dark. She has dark hair. And my youngest granddaughter Sarah, she's very dark haired, and she has very dark brown eyes. No, I'm sorry, green eyes. And my eldest son Jamie has dark brown eyes. And my mom had dark brown eyes, and my brother Rick has dark brown eyes, and so you see the different characteristics of everybody showing up, one way or the other, in different looks, and definitely in personalities as well, and so I don't know. I don't mean to toot my horn, but I mean, I'm proud of my family. I really am. You know, God blessed me with a very wonderful family. Two fantastic, supportive, loving sons, and three beautiful granddaughters, and one strapping, handsome grandson, and two, oh, precious, cuddly, handsome little great grandsons. And my eldest granddaughter Carson is ready to give birth at any moment. She went way past her due date, which was April the 6th, and And here we are now, April. What are we? April the 17th. Um, yes, April the 17th. It's still no baby. Um, it was the same when Harrison was born. He was well over a week past his due date, and came the night before my birthday. He came on the 4th of October. And this little baby, we don't know yet whether it's a little girl or a little boy, but uh, it is. Carson had told me yesterday that she has another appointment on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. If the baby hasn't come by then the baby will be coming then, because they're going to bring the baby on. And so, which I mean, I think is good because, you know, for those of you who have never had a baby, I mean, so therefore you're not, you're not, you don't know, because I mean, you've never been through it, so therefore you don't know. But the longer a baby remains in the womb, it is still continuing to grow, and I mean, it is fully matured. It's ready to be born, and at around the time that it's supposed to be. And but some babies, they seem to hang on and hang on, stay in there, and that seems to be Carson's plight. And I guess the little baby doesn't want to give up its personal lodgings or something, but he come out into the world. But anyway, so looking forward. I don't know, as I say, I don't know whether I've got another great grandson or whether I will have my first great granddaughter. Um, I'm hoping it will be a little girl, like for different reasons. It would be wonderful for Carson and Garrett to have a daughter. Then they have a son and a daughter, the perfect family. And for my son Jamie and his wife Corrine, I think it would be fantastic to have a granddaughter. And the same with Garrett's side of the family, because it's predominantly boys. And well, they're all boys. Garrett has two brothers and no sisters. And so this would be wonderful if this baby is a girl, for especially for Garrett's parents, and for Garrett, of course. And and for me to be able to have a great granddaughter, it's just, I am very excited. I'm just, I am just kind of a bundle of nerves, because I mean, I've been through childbirth in my life twice, and I know, been there, done that. I know what all it involves and how it feels, and everything that goes along with it. And but when it's happening to your own granddaughter, and I mean, for mothers whose daughters gave birth, I could imagine um, how my mother must have felt now that I've experienced this with Carson already, and just standing waiting for it to happen again. Uh, I can imagine how mom felt now. I mean, I know how mom felt now, because of there's, you're nervous and you're excited and you're anxious, and you're so full of pride, and it's just, I just want everything to go well and be fine, and for Carson to be okay, and for the baby to be okay, and you know I pray that all will be well, and I have no doubt that he will make it well. And so, cheers. Happy Easter. My big my big rusty cup. I got this given to me, I think Corrine gave it to me, quite some time ago. It's got a little R in the right in the top there. You can see just right there. I don't know if you can sort of see it, whether the light's washing it out, but there is the big R on the back, and of course Felicity. And I have my coffee and my tea in this cup all the time. And I think it's kind of funny how you can adopt something like a an inanimate object like a cup or a hat or something that becomes your very favorite, and you always, if it's a piece of clothing, you wear it. I mean, if it's like a mug, you use it, so um, but I guess I'm no different than anybody else in that respect, and I have my favorite things, and that I enjoy and use as much as I can, and never like to never like to let go of things. you know, everything has a history, and everything has a beginning and a meaning, and I think it's sad when people just they don't seem to have ties to anything. It's just everything's disposable. Like a house gets old, or a house gets um, maybe in a lot of need of repair or something. Um, Rather than put money into it or whatever, they just have it torn down, raise it like it's gone, and build new. I mean, that's all well and good. If money is constantly flowing, I guess it's yours to do with what you want, and it's not for anybody else to find fault or criticize. But and I hope I'm not doing that. But maybe because of the way that I grew up, um, we were not handed stuff left and right. I mean, we I grew up in farm life, and there was always something that needed being done. There was daily chores. There was um, you had to work in the fields. I had to work. I didn't work a lot in the fields. My brother did. Um, I would go when extra hands were needed. I used to, one of my jobs was to, well, gather the eggs every morning. I remember that. Feed the chickens, throwing oatmeal out to the chickens, feed the chickens, gather the eggs, and and help mom in the house and help mom in the garden. We grew a huge, huge, big vegetable garden every year, and I used to have to help my mom with that because mom tended the garden. Dad would work it up in the spring and get it all ready to be planted. And if he had the time, he would help mom, and they plant the garden together. Otherwise, mom would do that herself, and I'd help her, and holding where the cords were tacked down from end to end to keep the row straight. So as you planted the seeds, you just went along the line that was marked, and or the big cord that was there, and you'd go along to make sure that the row was going to be straight, and that because it's very important to have straight rows when you're when you're watering, or you're hoeing to keep weeds down, things like that, or even when the time comes to harvest what you've got planted. I mean, you got to have a straight row to be walking up and down, so you're not banging into the next row of whatever is there. And so but looking back, I mean, we worked hard. There's no getting around that. We worked hard, and some years were better than others as far as the harvest. The harvest would be better, or maybe not so good. Just depend a lot. You're always dependent on the weather, of course, and that you get all your crops off before frost comes, or before the ground is frozen, or whatever, or too much rain and you can't the the harvesters get bogged down in the fields and things like that. Oh, there was so many things that happened that I could talk about all those years ago that happened then. And but maybe because I grew up in a very old house. Um, my grandfather built the house that I grew up in. It was in he started it in 1903 and finished it in 1904. And I grew up in that house, and of course it was filled with very old furniture, antique furniture, of course, now. And and Mama she had some modern furniture of the time, like in the 50s and stuff, but the majority of stuff that was there um, had belonged to Grandma and Grandpa, and it had been handed down, to Mom and Dad, and they used it and looked after it. And I remember my bedroom outfit in the house. Um, I had, which was considered the guest. My grandma used to always call it the guest bedroom of the house. Um, that became my bedroom. There was 4 bedrooms upstairs, and my brother had one. My parents had another, and then there was another bedroom up there that was sort of used as storage that later became my bedroom. I moved over there, the head of the stairs, and but my bedroom when I was a little girl, up until well into my teens, um, was the guest bedroom, the original guest bedroom of the house, and it had a beautiful bed suite in there, the big high headboard and high big footboards up on the beds and on the bed, and all solid walnut. It was all carved. It was beautiful, and a matching dresser and matching commode, like a little where you set a wash basin and a pitcher on it, and it had racks up on the back for towels. And then I had a chair in there. It was called a Morris chair, and it was the most uncomfortable thing you'd ever want to sit in. It was all stuffed with horsehair, and horses, when you pet them, are very soft. If you come backwards on their hair, you can feel the roughness of it. But if you're brushing with the flow of the hair, it's very soft. But if horsehair is taken, of course, as I say, and you're going against the grain of it, or it's bent, I mean, it's very strong, and if it's bent, it comes sharp, and it would stick out through the fabric that covered it. It was kind of like, if I recall, a very heavy velvet, but it was still porous, and these hairs would stick through. And if you're sitting back against it, it was sticking in your back or your backs of your arms and that, and it was just not the most comfortable chair to sit in. And it was, you could move it different. Maybe it was like the very the forerunner of the recliner. I don't know, because there was this long bar at the back that you could move upwards, and the back of the chair had sort of like these notches that came upwards, sort of like, I could show it you here, like this. And but they were bent upwards from the chair, and this bar could be moved on whichever level you wanted. If you wanted it upright, you would put it in the very top, and then it would be straight up and down. And then as you went down further on the back of the back of the chair would let back further. And but as I say, I mean, it was so uncomfortable. You certainly weren't spending any more time lounging in it than you had to. And I mean, you thing of it is, if you had to sit in it, that's one thing, because you could sit up away from the back. But if it was, in a more laid back position, because it was so uncomfortable, I don't know who on earth would want to lay in it. And so, but that was in my room, and on the floor they were all board floors, and painted on the outer edges, and on and the inside area it was all hand twisted rug that was made out of scraps of cloth and whatever material would be available. And it was all, you know, twirled around and then knotted and whatever until you just keep going out and out and out until you've got a covering for the floor. And that's a lot of the my brother Rick, his bedroom, which was across the hall from my bedroom, it was over the kitchen, and mine was over the what my parents used as the living room, which was originally the dining room of the house, and mom and dad's bedroom was over the old parlor. And so I well remember that bedroom. It was had lovely wallpaper. It was like a combination of gold and beige and a little bit of deeper brown, and it was all woven like a very soft tapestry. And um, and then at the very top it was a maybe about a 2 3 inch border that went around at the top of the wall just under the ceiling, that was like a contrasting pattern to the actual wallpaper. And um, and the ceilings, I mean, they were all plastered ceilings, the same as the walls, and the ceiling was just painted white. And a really old-fashioned light fixture in the middle of the room that was um, just two open light bulbs could be put in there. And the light bulbs I remember that were in there were just straight light bulbs. They weren't fashioned to look like flames or coated or anything like that. It was just these two light bulbs. But the fixture itself was kind of a really unique, hard ceramic. I mean, it was a long ways up there. I don't ever recall ever even touching it, because they were 8 foot ceilings upstairs in the house and 9 foot ceilings downstairs. And so, I mean, if a light bulb needed changing, my father was the one that would do it, and bring it, his little step ladder or whatever up there, and look after changing the light bulbs and whatever. And so, if you wonder what I'm doing here, I've got some things showing up on the screen that I'm just trying to get them down. So I know that they're not in front of the camera, but still, I don't want them up there. So I just there, clear sailing now for a little bit of time. And but I mean, I'm getting on towards my 30-minute mark anyway, and I like to keep my videos, as you know, around that time frame. And so as I say, I had my family's Easter dinner last evening, and so today it's leftover turkey, and leftovers are always great to have, and almost as good as the actual sit-down dinner itself. And so I will be enjoying that in a little while, and I think I'm going to have myself a nap because I'm tired. And it was a busy day yesterday getting the meal ready. I mean, those huge meals are wonderful. I love doing them for my family, and but it's a lot of work. They don't do themselves, and it's a lot of work involved to get them done and to get them ready. And um, and so um, turned out well, and everybody had a good time. And to me, seeing my family around my table and my dining table, and seeing them enjoying what I've made and prepared for them, it's worth all the work that it involves to do it. And I look forward to continuing to do it for as long as I can. And so Easter, I usually always look after doing Easter for my family. My eldest granddaughter, or my eldest daughter-in-law, excuse me, Corrine. Um, she looks after Christmas, her and Jamie, and it's just wonderful. We all have a wonderful time. We had a great get together, great meal, and it's been like that now for many years, ever since my grandchildren were very little. But that's great. But I look after Easter, and so another one under my belt, and so for those of you today that are having your family gatherings today with your family and your friends, or whomever you're having, or if you're just on your own, I hope you have a very enjoyable Easter Sunday, and and enjoy your feasting, whatever you're going to have, and remember um, the reason for this day, and the immense sacrifice that was made for you and me and every living human before, now, and to come, Jesus Christ. And so I'm going to wish each of you God's blessings. I will be back relatively soon. There was a bit of a break between this video and my last one, and I haven't been doing any convoys the last couple of weeks or more because I've had different things going on in my life where I haven't been able to take part in them. But next week I'm planning to be back in the lineup again for next weekend, and whichever day they're having it. I do those videos for anybody that's interested. They are on my Facebook. If you go on my personal Facebook, they're not on my Rusty Facebook. They are on Carol Weir on my personal Facebook, and you can check them out and see them there. And so a very happy blessed Easter, and enjoy yourselves, enjoy the day, and if you can, go out and have a walk in this glorious sunshine and take in the never-ending splendor of watching the cycle renew itself, the earth renew itself. Life has renewed, everything is resurrected. So until I talk to you next time, be well. Take care for now.